Welcome back. Now that we know how to manipulate spanning tree by changing the priority number on the switch that we desire to be the root bridge, spanning tree can be somewhat of a nuisance if we know where we're going to plug in our end nodes, because really spanning tree is looking at ports. It's looking at all the ports, but the ports that we need to be concerned with are going switch to switch, switch to router, all their inter-networking devices. If you know that you're going to be plugging into these particular ports, end nodes, like your PC, a printer, a phone, things of that nature, then we can safely turn off spanning tree in those ports, all right? And they can turn into forwarding state almost immediately. You don't have to wait that period of time while spanning tree is analyzing the port. So we're going to learn how to turn off spanning tree, but by the same token, even though we're living in an era, in the age of communication technology, right? We don't communicate. We don't communicate with the people that work with us. So if we do turn off spanning tree in certain ports and you don't tell people, like your IT workers, and they plug in an inter-networking device into that port, it could create a switching loop, right? So not only are we going to learn how to turn off spanning tree, we're going to learn how to guard against things like that happening. All right, you may get asked questions on this in your examination. I honestly haven't heard much about all that, but you're going to go ahead and learn it now. It's really not that difficult. But let's see what happens when you plug in a computer, have you seen it already, on a port that spanning tree is working on. So let's get a PC out here. Let's just drag two PCs right off the bat. And I'm going to plug it in to switch 3. I need a cable. And let's pick a cable here. Let's plug it into cable port number 3. You see that orange light? It's spanning tree that's looking at that. Is making a decision, hey, is this port, can I turn it into a designated forwarding port so information can be forwarded out that port? So it needs to know what to do with it. It's not an inter-networking device. It will always turn that port to designated forwarding. But you see, it takes time. It takes that 30 to 60, sometimes even longer, for that port to change, for that port to even change. So let's just sit here and just watch it while it's amber there finally turned green. So now you're able to forward information. If you were to look at that particular port, let's look at it. Oh my God, was I in the way? Were you able to see that? Hold on. Yeah, you were able to see that. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. Enable. So we're going to do show spanning tree. And you can see that port number 3 is designated forwarding, right? So, but it took spanning tree, forever and a day, at least for today, right? Because, we got to hit the elevator button every second because we want instant gratification. So we can get that instant gratification by turning off spanning tree. And I'll do it in this switch right here. And I'll just do it on one port, or you can do it on a range of ports. All right, so let's maximize this. Enable, config T, interface. Let's do a range. Range F0/3, let's say -10. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off spanning tree on these ports, because we're going to tell everybody that works with us in the IT, right? There's probably only 2 guys anyway. And because we are, IT people are jack of all trades and we know everything. We're going to turn off spanning tree in this particular ports. So how do we do that? Spanning tree, I tab, spanning tree, port, fast. Once you hit enter, it's going to give you a warning. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure that you want to turn off spanning tree doing the port fast command? Caution, caution, caution. If somebody plugs in some sort of inter-networking device there, you could cause switching loops. All right, so that's a problem when you turn that off. But it's a problem because you don't tell people, hey, I turn off the documentation, all that good stuff. You need to do that. But let's guard against that. How do we do that? We do spanning tree, BPDU guard enable. What does that mean? I am guarding against any bridge protocol data units that I may see coming my way. So if somebody plugs in a switch there accidentally, that port's going to see, hey, or those ports will see, hey, I see a BPDU coming my way. No, what am I going to do? I'm going to shut down the port. It turns the port to something called error disable. Error disable. And it won't allow, any traffic to come through there. So that's why you want to put BPDU guard enable. That's its purpose. That's its purpose. So let's see what happens. Let's give this a try. Now it's ports 3 through 10. So I'm just going to plug it into port 3 and get a cable. Click on Fast Ethernet. Click on port 3. Boom! Right there. Immediately. Designated forwarding. That's what we want. We want to tweak our network so as soon as we plug things in, things start working right away. But it takes planning. It takes planning. It takes design, obviously. You just don't start throwing things out there and start doing, you got to run your cables. You got to plan and design everything ahead of time. So always in IT, the work is up front. Once the work is done right, then you can sit back and pretty much drink coffee all day and just watch your network as smooth as it is. All right? But let's see what happens. Let's test the theory. Let's plug in a switch. Right? I'm the IT guy that they didn't tell me anything. Say, don't tell Laz anything. He's going to screw it up. I'm the new guy on the block. You know how I like to mess around with new guys. Let's plug it into port 10. All right. Ooh, look, it turned red. It turned red. Let's take a look at those ports. Uh-oh. Something happened. Let's take a look at the show start. See if we can see it through there. Oh, come on. Okay. Show start. As you can see, span tree, port fast, BPDU guard enable. Let's go to port 10. We can't see it through there. Okay, so we go to show, interface, F0/10. And there it is right here. Error disable. Error disable. That port, it is now down. So no information can go through there. And that's the BPDU guard that did that. It turned that port into ERR disabled, error disabled. All you really got to do is obviously unplug the switch, all right, because the switch doesn't belong there. Oh, no, wait a minute, cancel. Unplug the switch. It's still going to stay in that error disable state, as you can see. So we're going to go inside there, config T. We're going to do a no shut. Oops, sorry. Interface F0/10. Let's do a shut. No shuts. Oh, I'm in the wrong interface. Wow. Interface F0/10. There you go. We're going to do a shut. No shut. All right, so we should be able to now, should have gone to normal state. Now should have gotten out of that error disable state. In show interface F0/10. So it's not just disabled, it's just down, but it's no longer an error disabled. All right, so we can turn it on if we had to for whatever reason, but it takes it out of the shade. You just got to flip it, shut, no shut, and it'll go ahead and go back to normal. Go back to normal. But that's BPDU guard and turning off spanning tree. So will you do that? Sure, why not? You can do that safely. You know where you're going to plug in your end devices at. You can turn off spanning tree there. Just remember, really spanning tree is concerned about inter-networking devices. So if you're plugging in hubs, concentrators, other bridges, /switches, routers, all that, you don't turn off spanning tree there. But if you're plugging in end devices, like again, computers, printers, phones, plotters, whatever, scanners, things of that nature, end devices that don't send any BPDUs, it's safe to turn off spanning tree in those ports. But just in case you have that one individual or that doesn't know any better, or somebody that's trying to do something malicious and plug in their own switch. I don't know why anybody would be walking in with a switch unless you belong to the IT department and you bought a new switch or whatever the case may be. But either way, you don't want to accidentally plug something in into a port that you turned off spanning tree. So you definitely want to guard yourself against that by doing the BPDU guard enable. And again, it's spanning tree, BPDU guard enable, and you do it within the ports. And you turn off, obviously, because you turn off spanning tree. And that's it. That's all there is to that. All right? So now you know all about spanning tree. Pretty simple, not a big deal. But again, get ready, because towards the end of the switching portion of this course, we're going to put all this stuff together. And we're going to create a very nice big lab. So be ready for that. I'll see you in the next session.